Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Start Fishing. Just a reminder, this is a 360 degree video, so you should be able to look in all directions. And if you're unable, you might want to go back to my homepage and watch the video on how to view VR vids. Also, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel and make sure that you receive notifications of new content when they're available. It is late afternoon with an incoming tide on the Savannah River. As you can see, I am currently passing the port and I'm headed up to the Talmadge Bridge. Now, normally I might have stayed closer to the Houlihan Bridge, but to my surprise, there were a lot of boats out on the water this particular Sunday afternoon. So I spent some time looking for bait and then headed up this way. Now this early in the year, I rarely find shrimp that far up the river, so what I was looking for was mullet or some other bait fish that I could possibly use as live bait or fished as fresh cut bait. So I was actually able to come up with a couple nice big mullet and a few other things, as you'll see later on in the video. Okay, so here we are, and as you can see, the Port Authority has been doing a lot of construction. What you're seeing here is the Georgia Port Authority's open ocean terminal upgrades. This is a $65.6 million enhancement for this area of the port, and it's going to include removal of the former bridge pier, which I think is what you can see close by, and other improvements behind the wharf structure. All of these are supposed to be finished by late 2027. So hopefully this area, this spot, won't be impacted too much. Now if you decide to fish here, remember to watch these tides carefully. On some days, at high tide, the water will come high enough to block you from exiting the area depending on your boat size. Although this is a neat spot since there is a creek that comes in and you have all that concrete structure. I've definitely had some luck here on occasion. So I'm going to maneuver up into this pocket and I'm going to anchor and I'm going to start fishing along the structure using a chunk of mullet on the bottom, and then I'm going to start casting artificial up to the concrete and we're going to see what happens. So I mentioned throwing the cast net for bait earlier and that I had a bit of a surprise. Not just a surprise, it's the first time that this has ever happened to me, and honestly I'd like to keep it that way. I'm going to take you back in time by about 20 minutes to show you what happened. When I arrived into this area, I did see a splash along the bank, but I honestly thought it was a fish that was feeding. In fact, I even cast up to the area and tried to see if I could catch something. But I never even saw this guy, or I may have just kept going. But I threw the net and he was there. When I got him into the boat, I thought, man, I don't think I want to get him loose on here. So I tried to get him freed up a little bit and then attempted to finish the process over the side, and it actually worked. There he goes with little harm done. And believe it or not, my cast net survived this ordeal with little damage. So, interesting experience, but not one that I want to repeat. So here we are back on our spot, and I've got one line out with a big mullet head attached to it. And at this point, I've given up on fishing with artificial, and I'm actually going to switch over both my rods to fish with cut bait. This is the great thing about using a 360 camera, because while I'm rigging up my setup here on the other pole, watch the one that's behind me, the one that's out. There's the bite. Now I barely saw it, but heard the drag run. There was no hookup, and you're going to see that I decided to actually move it to the back holder, hoping that maybe I'd be quicker to get to it in case there was another bite. So at this point, I'm still working on the rig, and here's bite number 2. Oh no! Alas, still wasn't able to hook up. I'm beginning to wonder what exactly I'm messing with. Is this a big striper, a redfish, or is it something else? Here we go again. Ah, there it is. Third time's a charm. Now we get to find out exactly what's been messing with my mullet. And it's a redfish, and a nice one at that. Sadly, it's over the slot, measuring in at about 25 inches, but man, what a blast. I'm certain I could have caught more, but I had family plans and had to head back not long after this catch. Hey, stay tuned for my next video, which is going to showcase my own ineptitude. Hopefully folks can learn from my mistakes. Hey, thanks for watching, and remember, if you see me out on the water, be sure to stop and say hello.